Last but not least, we have Miss Meleika Gardner, who I won't. Okay, I'm not going to do the introduction, Miss Meleika. I'm gonna allow you to introduce yourself and just what you're doing, how your identity informs what you do, and take it away from there. The next 10 minutes is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Gilo. Thank you, Kim. Thank you to Evanston Cradle to Career for inviting me on today to tell my story and how I got involved in activism. First of all, many of you know me from Evanston Live TV. I started Evanston Live TV because I wanted to hear the voice of the people and hear other people's stories. And Evanston Live TV opened the door to me joining a women's organization called We Will. And We Will is about assisting women and children in getting involved in legislation and getting active in the decision making and getting involved with the legislators and where all the decisions are made. And I really didn't see me getting involved on that level, I would say this time last year. But like you all have been saying all afternoon, you just never know where things are going to lead you. And I will say that my identity formed very young in speaking at the Peace Rally last weekend. I rarely share my personal story and how I got involved in what I'm involved in right now, but it definitely led me there is the pain and the anger. And we've been talking about that, the pain and the anger. At 9 years old, lost my father to gun violence. It was very, very devastating. My family tried to protect me from it. And I walked into a room and saw his body. And I think that just really messed me up and set me on a path from then on. Then 2 years later, I lost my stepfather. He was murdered as well. Then, the list goes on to the amount of Black men that I've lost in my family and in my life. I spoke on John at ETHS. He used to walk me to the bus stop right there on Church and Dodge, just gone. Gun violence, just gone. Then Nicholas, that same summer, gone. And the list goes on, and most recent was my nephew, Xavier Joy, on the south side of Chicago, was gunned down and on his way home from work. And, that was just devastating. And all this time I've been trying to figure out what to do with all this pain. Like, why is this happening? Why are so many Black men killing Black men? So when I came aboard the board of We Will, the founder, Alexandra Eidenberg, had asked me, she said, what's the first thing you want to work on in our organization? And I said, I want to tackle education, because it's always been my belief since I was a kid is that the history that is taught to us, the white man is seen as the hero, as the leader. And Black people will get maybe 2-3 pages out of the entire history book. And they started our history in shackles and chains. And I started really thinking about what is that really doing to us, to how we see ourselves, how we value ourselves. And to me, it feeds into systemic racism. And so the legislation that I'm working on right now is HB 4954. When I got involved with We Will, I told her I wanted to amend a bill that Representative LaShawn Ford on the west side of Chicago, he had a bill already on the table to mandate that they teach Black history in school, because, they're trying to get rid of Black history in school. And the textbooks in Texas are trying to change the narrative, trying to say that we were happy migrants. Like, we were happy to do what we were doing, but they don't want to go into the truth of slavery. They don't want to go into the truth of how we became enslaved and who we were prior to enslavement. So I had a meeting with Representative Ford, and I said, I would like to make an amendment to your bill where we include our true history prior to enslavement, so that Black children will get more of a sense of self-identity, self-worth, self-value, and all children, white children, all children will come to understand who we really are in history, that we built civilizations, we built kingdoms, you know, we contribute to medicine and technology and literature and architecture before being enslaved, and then tell the truth of what really happened. And I truly believe in my gut, in my heart, and in my soul, when a young Black man, a young Black woman, boy, girl, sees themselves from cover to cover in American history and what they built, because we built this country for free labor. We built this country, and we were amazing, powerful people prior to becoming enslaved. If they can identify and see themselves, they will truly have value in themselves, and they won't have a desire to pick up a gun. And then also, white children will not see themselves as the superior race, because they will come to understand and respect who Black people are in this country, and that we built this country. And that's what I'm working on right now. So we've been pushing and, you know, calling House representatives all over the state of Illinois to change history. And Representative Ford now is definitely pushing to abolish American history, since they don't want to get it right. Well, then don't teach it, because it's miseducation to our children. And that's a class action lawsuit just waiting to happen. So if you're not going to teach it right, all the people who have contributed, I mean, the Native American Indians, Black people, Jewish people, women aren't really represented in history the way that they should be, then they need to abolish history altogether until they decide to get it right and tell the truth of everything. So that's what I'm involved in, and it's been the best work for me, because I know, being a young person, I know a lot of you are young, you have a lot of that anger, that pain, that restless energy. You want to see change. You see all this stuff happening in our country to your family personally, and you want to do something. And the best thing to do is to get active, step outside of yourself, step outside of your pain, use the pain and the anger, and bring about change. And I'm loving working at the legislative level, because that's where the serious change happens. So this is my way of helping as many young Black boys and girls as I possibly can, by making sure that they get the information that they need to make sure that they develop properly and feel good about themselves and go on to sky's the limit. And that's it.
All right. Come on, y'all. 3, 2, 1. All right. Wow. Thank you, Meleika, for sharing that and for your personal testimony. Again, we're talking about physics, transforming negativity into positivity, pain and anger into something constructive and positive for the benefit of everyone. So Meleika Gardner from Evanston Live TV, the voice of the people, right? To move into We Will, the organization, women's organization, getting involved where decisions are made. That's the key. Getting a seat at the table, taking a seat, taking a chair, building the chair to sit there where decisions are made. And as she said, this time last year, she didn't see herself getting involved in this way. So again, you never know how it's going to happen. As a young child, again, tragedy, trauma, pain, the assassination of her father, of her stepfather, and she wasn't even a teenager, and the impact that had on her life, all the way to her nephew, Xavier Joy, who I knew as well. So, but again, she took that pain and has transformed it into something that's powerful. I think of the proverb, the African proverb, that until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. That's the proverb that came to mind, Meleika, as you were talking about the importance of this bill, this amendment that you are working on. And we really appreciate that, because that is necessary work that needs to be done. And she talked about this. She drew an interesting parallel to white supremacy. She drew an interesting parallel to the impact of gun violence in the Black community based on the miseducation of people. Carter G. Woodson had the book Miseducation of the Negro, but as I like to often say, it's the miseducation of everybody. It's the miseducation of Asian folks, white folks, Black folks. We've all been miseducated and we are all detrimentally impacted by this. But again, just as Henry and the others, she's talking about this for the benefit of everyone, not just for Black people. And then lastly, she mentioned the importance of stepping outside of yourself and stepping outside of your pain, right? So we have to reach within, but we can't get stuck there, and we got to find ways to step beyond so that we can link together and do this work. So thank you. What a powerful panel. I want to thank each one of you all. I'm going to ask for this one, if you all can turn your cameras on real quick. If you can turn your mics on, and we can give all of our panelists a round of applause so they can hear it as well.